The gold and silver pawn shop made famous by Pawn Stars used to be a symbol of reality TV success. Fans traveled from around the world just to catch a glimpse of Rick, Corey, and Chumley. But now, that same store is under intense investigation. The FBI has stepped in, and when they pulled up part of the pawn shop's old floor, what they found made everyone stop cold. This isn't just about bad paperwork or a business slip-up. It's about potential crimes hidden beneath decades of fame, family legacy, and antiques. Let's walk through what really happened and what the FBI found when they dug into the Pawn Stars empire. It all started quietly with a financial audit. After years of explosive success, the gold and silver pawn shop began showing signs of financial strain. Tourist traffic had slowed, ratings were dipping, the TV show wasn't pulling in like it used to, and with all that, revenue dropped. That's when auditors were brought in to take a closer look at the books. At first, the focus was just financial: assets, liabilities, inventory, cash flow. But once they stepped into the shop's massive storage areas, rooms packed with artifacts collected over decades, that's when things turned. There were items with no paperwork, others had incomplete provenance, some even had ties to past thefts reported in other states. The scope was suddenly way beyond accounting. That audit, it triggered a full-scale FBI investigation. The FBI Art Crime Division took over, and what they uncovered was staggering. Natalie Rodriguez, a former FBI art crime expert, explained that this wasn't just a few items, it was thousands. Some artifacts went back before the Pawn Stars show ever aired, back when documentation standards were looser, if they existed at all. Agents found Civil War-era artifacts with inconsistent records. Native American relics that could fall under the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act, with no legal proof of acquisition. International antiquities from Egypt, Greece, and Middle Eastern countries' regimes, with strict export laws sitting in storage with questionable origin. Rodriguez said sorting through all of it, figuring out what was legal and what wasn't, was a monumental task. Each new discovery added pressure to the case, and it was clear this wasn't just about financial missteps anymore. Just as investigators ramped up, tragedy struck the Harrison family. In January 2025, Adam Harrison, Rick's son, died from a drug overdose at age 39. Unlike Corey, Adam never appeared on the show. He stayed out of the limelight, living a quiet life away from cameras. Still, he was close to the family, and his death shattered Rick. A source close to the family said, first he lost his son, now the business his father built is being torn apart. It's a nightmare. At the same time, investigators were picking apart the family business, and Rick was trying to mourn while watching everything unravel. This wasn't the first legal storm to touch the Pawn Stars cast. In 2016, Austin Chumley, Russell was investigated for sexual assault. But though no charges were filed, the search of his home turned up drugs and illegal firearms. He pleaded guilty to felony weapons charges and drug possession. 3 years of probation followed. Now, with the pawn shop under federal investigation again, Chumley's past came back into view. But his lawyer was quick to clarify, Chumley had no purchasing authority during the time most questionable items entered the shop. He was just an employee. He didn't handle acquisitions, and he's fully cooperating with investigators. He's stayed sober since 2016, opened his own candy shop near the pawn store, and focused on rebuilding his image. Still, the damage to the brand's reputation was done. Rick Harrison, the face of the business and the voice behind hundreds of episodes, always painted himself as a master of history and authentication. He said time and time again his father taught him the business. The key was careful evaluation. You don't buy unless the paperwork checks out. But now, that image is cracking. With so many suspicious items discovered, some without documentation, others potentially looted, viewers are questioning everything. How did these things get past Rick? Was it oversight? Was it bad judgment? Or something worse? A longtime fan named Margaret Winters, who once visited the shop, put it this way: Rick always said he wouldn't buy anything without proper paperwork. It's hard to reconcile that with what we're hearing now. Much of the business's credibility came from its founding legacy, Richard the Old Man Harrison. He co-founded the shop with Rick in 1989 and was known as tough but fair, both on the show and in real life. When he died in 2018, Rick stepped up as head of the family and business. He always credited his father with teaching him everything. A former producer who worked closely with the family for years said the old man would be heartbroken. He was immensely proud of building something to pass down to his grandchildren. Now that dream is slipping away. The inheritance the old man worked for, it's threatened by legal trouble, financial chaos, and public scrutiny. As the FBI dug through the inventory, another thread unraveled: financial irregularities. The Harrisons had leveraged their fame into multiple businesses: Rick's restaurant Rollin' Smoke, Corey's bar Viper Room, merchandise, licensing deals, and more. Now, forensic accountants are analyzing those ventures, looking for mixed funds across businesses, questionable cost allocations, potential tax issues stretching back years. Every deal, every entity, every dollar is under a microscope. Rick and Corey, once stars of a billion-dollar cable brand, now find themselves trying to keep the core shop alive while their side ventures face legal heat. The investigation also pulled back the curtain on how Pawn Stars really operated. Viewers saw one version. Sellers walk in, pitch an item, Rick makes a deal, an expert drops in with some facts. But producers and investigators revealed a split reality. The TV shop was scripted, staged, and polished. The real shop kept operating in the background, with walk-in sellers, regular inventory, and day-to-day business. That behind-the-scenes store is the one now in the FBI's crosshairs. As it turns out, the show and the business were separate beasts, sharing a roof, but not the same rules. And that's where the problem started. Corey Big Hoss Harrison grew up in the pawn shop. Across Pawn Stars' 22 seasons, viewers watched him transform from a rebellious kid to the next in line for the business. But now that future is at risk. As the investigation deepens, Corey is left juggling grief over his brother Adam's death, supporting his father Rick, and trying to keep the business alive. The shop that was supposed to be his legacy is now fighting to survive. The Pawn Stars story was built on trust, knowledge, and family. But fame, tragedy, and federal investigations have left the once great empire hanging by a thread. When the FBI pulled up those floorboards, they didn't just find artifacts. They found the hidden cracks in a legacy millions believed would last forever. Now the question is clear: was it really built to last, or was it always destined to collapse? If you found this story as unbelievable as we did, hit that like button. And if you want more true stories like this one, make sure to subscribe. We've got more coming.